welcome to the Sunday Talks. It's been a while. I've been missing in action, but I've always been there in the background, and I know what's happening um, with a lot of you, most of you. So I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be starting, on this sacred day of Ashtami of Navratris, which is very, very auspicious according to the Navratri prayers that we do here and all over the world nowadays. So suddenly, spontaneously, we decided that let's reconnect for these talks today and discussing a topic. Just didn't know what to start off with because I wanted it to be something connected to divinity, that something related to maybe religion, divinity, whatever it is that you're sort of the mood of the whole energy is nowadays. So when we look at divinity, and somehow we always equate it to religion, right? We equate it to religion. But actually, when we say divine, we mean, usually in a layman language, we mean God. Similarly, when we talk about spirituality, spirituality is very different from religion. And I think last time our topic was spirituality versus religion. And this time it is about divinity. And when we talk about divinity, we talk about the divine. And actually, we talk about the divine within each one of us. So, very important to connect to that divinity that we have within us, even though we feel that, yeah, this is outside of me or this does not belong to me. That's really not true because there is nothing outside of you. And when I say you, we all now have to grow and understand that when I'm saying you, I don't mean you as the person, say Monica or Vidhi or, Reena. We don't mean you as the person. We mean you as an extension of consciousness. We mean you as a part of the whole. And all of us, in fact, most of us here are seekers. We are spiritual seekers, and we are trying to connect to that part of us which is maybe a higher consciousness, a higher part of us. Um, I say higher because it's a comparative word. It's like those degrees of comparison. So when I say higher, it means a part of you which is in a way, say high or higher or more evolved than than this person as me, as Sujata or Tulika or Pragati or Swati. We are definitely more than just this. And that is what we need to connect to. So, whether we do it through meditation, whether we do it through just understanding, this higher energy, this higher part of us, which we say as the divine part of us. So, to bring you down and, to kind of break it into maybe simpler things, let's understand that there is always, whatever you may be doing, whatever you may be thinking of, there is always a part of you which tells you the so-called right and maybe the so-called wrong. I'm not judging anything, but supposing there's a child who's hungry and who wants, who sees that he can steal a loaf of bread, or so many things that we go through in our days, and we know a part of us will say, don't do it, yeah, it's okay. I mean, you don't need to fall into this trap. And there's another part of you which is saying, come on, go ahead, you deserve it, you've been going through so much. So there are always these two voices in your head. Now, this part which says, don't take that step, is very aligned with you. There is no doubt in that. It has no, it has no option of should I or should I not. There is this part which is saying, should I or should I not? It's not right to do it. Maybe I can just overlook it. And then, to this part again, it is like, no, you can afford to do this. You deserve to do this. So this part is very unsure. This is the person or the personality part of us, which is very sure, which may be in confusion, which may be in doubt. And actually, that is not the so-called divine part of us. Every part of us is divine, but this is not the part that we are connecting to. We need to connect to this higher wisdom, this higher divinity that we hold within us, which is just saying, just have that trust. And even if you are picking up that loaf of bread, or even if you're doing what you need to do and you are not very sure, just trust that there is a higher power that is making you do it. And I don't mean that you can get away with murder, with this, but at that moment, you can do no better. You can do no better. If you could do better, you would do better. So the more you drop these aspects of confusion, or, not being very sure, or thinking, should I go this way or that way, the more you'll get kind of derailed, and the more you are away from your true self, from your divine self. But the more you come into this space where you trust yourself, where you know that what you're doing is the best that you can do at this moment, and you're not beating yourself up for doing that action. You're not beating yourself up for doing that action. In fact, you're okay to face the consequences of whatever may. Then you're absolutely connected to your divine self, to your divine nature, to the divinity within each one of you. And actually, we get that power from that divine within us. We've been doing these prayers and meditation for Navratri every evening, and we've been worshipping all the forms of Durga. And to us, Durga is really that feminine power, that feminine power which we all look up to, which we all need to connect to, so that we can, imbibe that power, and yet be that mother, yet be that nurturing, loving mother, and balance the two, balance the aggressive, empowering goddess, speaking up for self, fighting for herself, fighting for the good versus the evil, and having the power, ability, tools to fight for that. And yet, if you look at any form of Durga, and we've been going through this for the past 1 week, if you look at any form of Durga, you will see that she has all the tools, all the weapons, all the aggression in her body language, and yet the nurturing, motherly look on her face. And normally we would say that there are two different ends of a spectrum. Either you can be very aggressive or you can be very motherly and nurturing. But that's not true. That's not true. And that's what we all need to imbibe and bring into ourselves. If you're doing what you're doing, and you're kind of fighting for something in your life which you feel is right for you, that does not mean that you've become kind of selfish, or you've become like very aggressive, or you're fighting. You're not fighting. You just feel that this is right, this aligns with your energy, and you're moving in that direction, and you have all the right to move in that direction, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else, as long as you're not intentionally wanting to hurt anybody else. But raise your energy, protect your energy, preserve your energy. Because if there are things around or situations that you're falling into, whether it is in your professional or personal life, and you feel that they disconnect you from your true nature, by all means, you need to preserve your energy and move ahead. And slowly, those things will either fall off from your life, or they'll settle down in some space. But your energy will rise to that level where you are that divine, you are that divinity, and you connect to that divinity, and you live with the powerful divinity within each one of you. Believe me, there is nothing prepared what I'm speaking to you right now. It's just flowing. It's just flowing through me. Yes, Srishti, Tanvi.
So, Auntie, it's a question from both me and Tanvi. So, if someone is feeling challenged, or someone is not is feeling blocked, so does that mean that you are not open to your true self, or does it mean that that the divinity within ourselves is not available, or is it missing?
Very good, very good. So the divinity is always available.
Okay.
It is not like, I even gave that example of the sun the other day, that if you look at the sun, It's not that the sun is not available to you. Even if the sun parties till 4 o'clock in the morning, the sun has the discipline of rising at 6, 7, whatever is the time that it is meant to rise, isn't it? You cannot look at the sun, but the sun and the sunlight is always available to you. So, in the same way, that divinity, that God, that energy within you is always there. But you are disaligned from that because you're so caught in your personal issues. The challenges or the blocks, as you mentioned, are only something that is there in the mind, is something that you believe is holding you back from connecting to that divinity. But there is nothing that can block you from connecting to that divinity, even if it is the last breath of your life, or you're going through a terminal illness, or you're going through a bad relationship, or you're financially broke, you're on the streets, you are famished, you are hungry, you have your stomach full. You can always connect to that divinity. Only that you have to come back to your center. The divinity doesn't leave you anytime. God doesn't leave you anytime.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, Anji, it does. It does.
You are disconnected from your true self. And the basic thing we say, na, oh, I'm feeling very disturbed today. I'm feeling very low today. Just ground yourself. When will you feel scattered and low? When you're going here, there, like we say, swimming in an ocean, and you just want to hold on to an anchor. You feel at that time, oh, I wish somebody could just hold me. Isn't it? Somebody could hold you. But can we not connect to God? Feel your guardian angel behind you. They're always there. Feel God embracing you. Feel Mother Earth grounding you. Feel the fathers above holding you. Feel yourself sitting in the lap of God. Connect to your breath. Simple, coming back to divinity. That is your true self. It takes you all of 3 breaths of awareness, isn't it?
Yes.
Mind chatter will go on. He said this, she said this happened, that happened, worked and project failed, boss fired you, child said something, husband said something, wife said something. All that will go on because that is something external. Let that drama go on. You come in here. The breath and your heart center. Breathe. Anchor. Connect to Mother Earth. Simple. And the divinity is back. Today we are going to align all our chakras in the evening meditation. The chakras are all there. It's only when you feel that, oh, I'm feeling very angry, that means the solar plexus is not in alignment. I'm feeling that I'm not loved, the heart chakra, you're totally disconnected from your heart. And why do we need somebody physically or externally to give you that validation? We all have to grow out of that. It's like we're trying to hold the ear from here, from this end, and my hand is not reaching, but I can always hold it in this way or in this way. But I want somebody outside to come and show me that divinity. My life to be framed in a particular way to believe that, yes, now things are fine. Now I have the perfect relationship, the perfect job, the perfect child, the perfect parents, the perfect health. Now I'm connected to God. That will never happen. We will all keep going through these challenges at different times in our lives. But that does not mean that God or divinity within and outside is not there. Actually, it is all divinity within us. All we need to do is to come back to our breath, to our heart center, to ourselves, and then just know that you're so well protected. And that, and the confidence and the strength that you feel once you are able to connect to that just surpasses everything else. That person whom you're looking to give you that support, to show you that light, to take you to that temple or to that place where you will feel that, oh, this is a divine temple, this is a church, this is a gurdwara, here I'm going to receive that. That may change. That today you felt it, next time when you go to the same place of worship, you may not feel it. Today that person took you, tomorrow they may not be around to take you. So you have to stop kind of leaning on these external factors. If there's anything that you need to lean on, depend on, is yourself, your higher consciousness, your guides, your angels, and they're specific to you. Just reach out to them and see how well you are supported. See how well you're supported, but don't dictate it. That I want this particular relationship to go in this particular way. She should say this to me. He should say this to me. It's okay. Be in your space. Be okay first. The rest will follow. Don't let those things happen first for you to feel happy, because those are very temporary bandages that you're putting in your life, in the life situations. When you remove the bandage, the wound will still be, having a lot of infection. So heal it from the root. Raise your immunity to heal that wound rather than putting bandages and, ointments from the external.
Thank you, Auntie. That was very well explained, Auntie. Thank you.
Thank you. Nandini, are you there? I think she's dropped. Yeah, she's there. Does that make sense, Nandini? We were asking something. Yeah, unmute.
I
unmute.
absolutely believe. No, I absolutely believe this completely. I mean, I completely resonate with this. It's just so perfect, and one can hear it a million times, and it's just, you actually, the thing is that one know, it's more than hearing and reading and all. We need to put this into our lives. We need to actually practice this, which is not easy for a start, but once you get into it, it's magical. It's absolutely magical. I absolutely agree with you.
It's like anything else. It's like what you say that it is, it's a kind of practice. It's like what gives you comfort. It's like when you start a diet, it is difficult in the beginning. When you start an exercise, join a gym, it is difficult in the beginning, isn't it? You feel lazy, your mind will give you 101 reasons not to do that, isn't it? But once you start enjoying that, connecting to that, it becomes, I'm using a very strong word, it becomes so seductive that it pulls you into it, isn't it? And if you know that you're going to benefit from it, if you know that, you have to really break out of this conditioning of thinking of yourself as just this person, because that limits you. And then we feel, oh, this one has abandoned me, this one has rejected me, this has happened. Then we are, just swaying from here to there. But that one who's looking up, who's holding you, can never abandon you. Can you even imagine how you stand? It's the gravitational pull of the earth. Otherwise, you would all be falling. Has that ever let you down? Has that ever let you down? The moment your body is capable of standing, you are standing and walking and running. But before that, of course, you're a child and you're lying. But this moment you stand up, it's the Mother Earth that is holding you, bearing all the burdens. Try holding or taking the weight of somebody on yourself. And we are millions who are held by Mother Earth and nature. So we have to move beyond just people and persons who are kind of supporting us. We have to now really become vast and understand that each one of us, whether it's an ant or a huge oak tree, whether it is, say, the president of a country or a laborer, we are all expressions of that same divinity, of that same consciousness, expressed in different ways. When we look at the plant kingdom, we say, okay, this is an oak tree, this is such and such a tree, this is a plant, this is a flower. They're all expressions of that same consciousness, isn't it? So when we look at ourselves, we too are an expression of that same consciousness. When we look at that beautiful rose, the fragrance that comes out of it, and we put it at the feet of the divine, there is no separation. There is no separation between that idol as well as that rose. So we have to dissolve these separations in our hearts. And we can do that by doing small, small things, by just accepting everybody in just the way they are. Isn't it? And open up your heart center. Just open up your heart center. When I say open up your heart center, many of you know that we even have that little meditation to bring in a vision of, something that you really love, and feel that vibration of love in your body. And then step ahead from that. And that does not mean that you're always going to fall into traps, or people may cheat you or deceive you just because you're so heart-centered. That's not true. And that's why we pick up this topic today, because when we look at Goddess Durga, she has like totally destroyed the evil, and the good has become victorious over the evil. But yet she's a mother. She's nurturing, she's loving, she's holding you. But she's not allowing the so-called evil or things that are not, good to the entire universe. those are being removed. The demons, the devils, the evil in our mind, the the demons in our mind, which are so many times our thoughts, our negative mind chatter. We need to just totally dissolve all that. And when you're in this loving space, even if you are angry with somebody or you hate somebody, you cannot curse that person. You will still somewhere in your heart bless that person, and yet do what you need to do. If you need to scold your child or stop your child from something, you will be harsh and strong and standing there and saying that, no, this is not right. This is not going to happen. And yet you will not stop loving your child, isn't it? So God is just telling you to do that. And sometimes when we are pushed to these, very so-called harsh circumstances or difficult circumstances in our life, it's only because God is asking us to balance and connect to that divinity within us. That is our biggest support. You, your breath, your anchoring, your divinity, your guide. This is your biggest asset, your biggest connect, your biggest anchor. Don't keep waiting for things outside to give you that. We have to, all of us have to now grow out of that and grow into this higher being that we all are. Does that make sense? I would love to hear from some of you. Please share.
Yeah.
Yes, Neha.
Sujata.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, Nandini, go ahead. I'll come to you,
It's
Neha.
okay. No.
Please
I
complete.
was just saying that I absolutely agree that this is there. And also sometimes when you tend to waver off and, feel the world is not good for you or what there is, literally you have to come back to the same space. And that's the biggest, actually, sometimes we forget that we have these tools. And I think somehow we have
Yeah.
to bring those back. I mean, if it's, because it is going to happen. There will be times that, you're something or the other is going to happen to upset you. But the whole thing is to be in the presence to get back to that same situation. And also another thing I feel is sometimes things happen maybe not the way we would like it to be, but then that's like later on you realize that was for our good, because there's a learning in that. I mean, something has
Always.
to happen for other things to happen, but we have to recognize it, and we need to sort of accept that part also, that okay, there must be something that there is, and again use the same centering to take out the positive and take that out of it. That's it.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
thanks. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And actually, when we go through this, process, and in fact, that's what I teach in this 7-week program, the rebirthing program, because we're all birthing into higher levels of consciousness, isn't it? To birth into a higher level of consciousness, we have to go through what is the birthing process. There's so much of stuff that is released. It's not very clean. All that muck has to come out. To clean a drain, when you put in drain X, first all that muck will come out, and then the drain will be absolutely clear. So for you to connect to that divinity, to be that conduit or that channel to connect to that divinity, first all this has to come out. How will it all come out? It will only come out once what will come out will only be negative. It won't be very pleasing. It'll be uncomfortable. It'll be painful emotionally, physically, mentally, in so many ways. But you have to hang in there and then see how clean and clear a channel you become. Isn't it? Yes, Neha, I would love to hear from you.
So I've been listening. I joined in late, so I missed the first part. But whatever I've been listening, I'm just wondering, what you say makes so much sense, because in today's world, and especially like, if I take my case, growing up in ways that did not ever forget listening. Matlab, even if the body or something deep within said something, there was little to zero faith in what was coming, and it was always external factors where there was so much of faith. Now, when
Yeah.
I'm like 7-week course that I'm doing, it is so unsettling, and it is so unsettling because it's like, the foundation is not there and you're asked to build. So my question was like, right now I'm struggling to build a foundation, whereas I'm already say on say fifth floor, and I have to build the foundation. My daughter's just turned 16. I was having a conversation with her the other day, and I remember wondering very deeply that what would you advise, suggest, or whatever, that children, now that they're growing up, how can we help them that, you know, they are able to kind of, they're in that stage where the foundation is still being set. What
Absolutely.
what can we do as like for me as a mother who
Parents.
doesn't have a foundation? How do I help her find her foundation?
Yeah. So what I say always is that, like for children, their parents are everything. I mean, now they're growing into teenagers, so they will start forming more of a personal identity for themselves. But the best thing that you can do for them first is to yourself not be in that fear. And even though you say that you're on the fifth floor and it is difficult to build a foundation now, it's never too late. It's never too late. Even have that image, when you were speaking, that it's that image of, yeah, I'm there on the fifth floor and my foundation is a little rocky, but you have those kind of, you put those, I'm forgetting the names. When you're making a building, they put that
Folding,
thing, they have,
scaffolding.
yeah, scaffolding. Exactly. Thank you for sharing. They put that scaffolding to hold the upper structure in place and then work on the lower one also. And you can climb up on that and, your foundation can be absolutely held in place. So don't firstly doubt that. And once you start feeling that confidence within you, so what is it? See, basically, when we feel derailed, it's when we get into an emotion that makes us feel insecure. And the biggest emotion is fear. Fear is always about something in the future, coming from something that has happened in the past, isn't it? From a belief or maybe an experience in the past from the subconscious mind. So
Yeah.
that fear is actually what is shaking you up, isn't it? You say, I don't have a foundation. So what is the foundation that we're looking for? Here, it's not a foundation with bricks and cement. The foundation is from your mind, from your thoughts, isn't it? So it's never too late. And the biggest thing that you can do, what will a foundation give you in a house? It will not let you fall, isn't it? It'll
Yeah.
give you that firm ground to stand on top and do what you need to do. So in the same way, you can find that same grounding in your life wherever you may be, on the fifth floor or on the penthouse on the 24th floor, 50th floor. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can build that foundation for yourself. And if your child looks up to you, even in adverse situations, and you say, don't worry, this is okay, it's all passing, and we go through this, rather than getting rocky and shaking. So, first, you have to make your belief, which is your foundation, where you can stand tall and tell your child, no, God is making us go through a little lesson or a little tough time, but this is a part of everything. It's like the high tides and the low tides. So don't think that you can't get through this. Have the confidence that it may be rocky for a while, but that's how life is, and that is the truth for each one of us, isn't it? There will be ups and downs. There will be times when you're thrown off. There will be times when you bounce back. So once you live with that trust that nothing can shake me, my life is just happening in the way that it is meant to, because it is being driven by whom? Who's the driver of your life? Not you, but God. Just as you know what you need to do for your child, you know the so called right thing as much as your child might protest. In the same way, that divinity within you or the God in your life, the higher power, the higher consciousness knows what is right for you. Even if you're rebelling at that time, that God, why are you throwing me in the dark? I don't know how to swim, and you're throwing me in a swimming pool. I'm going to drown. But even if you
Yes.
don't know how to swim a bit and you say, okay, I'm in the pool, let me just surrender, you'll float and you'll survive. You will not drown. But you have to just know that something is supporting you. And you
Yeah, yeah.
cannot put a finger to that support. Today it's your parents, tomorrow our parents are not there. Tomorrow it's your partner, day after your partner is not there. Now it's your child moves into some other country. So who are we banking on? Who can we depend on? These external circumstances, situations will keep changing. That's life. But we can always depend on that higher consciousness, that strength, that power that is always within each one of us. And if you need to reach out to somebody, to a teacher, to a mentor, to a friend, reach out. Maybe not for them to come and help you and support you and listen to you, but more than that, help you to connect to your true nature. Say, let's do a meditation together, or let's just sit together. Just go connect to the earth, go hug a free, go walk on the grass, connect to Mother Nature, connect to the divine in terms of your guides, your guardian angels. And you may say, like, okay, I don't believe you, or I'm not able to believe you. I don't see any things. I need to see some sign. Believe me, you will always be given a sign. So I always say, a lot of people who are like, who don't bother to open a message, when you see or put a question, you will get that guidance, that message, that insight. You have to be clear enough to hear it. That comes only by being silent. If your mind is going ba 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 ba, and you're just getting caught in all that, this, that, then you cannot hear the direct message. And I say, forget about long meditations, forget about long discourses, forget about, reading this and reading that and listening to this and listening to that. You are alive, you are breathing, just connect to your breath. Simple, no music, no teachers, no mentors, no nothing. Just try to connect to your breath, bring your awareness to the tip of your nose, connect to this breath, because this breath is your life. You're only feeling all this because you're alive, and you're alive, that means you're breathing. The moment this breath stops, there is no problem. Or even if there is, we are not aware of it. Isn't it? So just connect to your breath and thank this breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The problem will just disappear. Believe me, the problem will just disappear. Come into that space of gratitude. Don't just wait that, okay, when things are in this frame that I have listed, or all my to-do things are ticked off, then I will be, say my gratitude.
Good.
Just come to your breath. Just say thank you. Simple two things. And your mind may say, why should I thank? What should I thank God for? My life is hell right now. I'm going through such a tough time. Why should I say thank you? But if you look at that tough time and you list down, say 100 things in that tough time, I will tell you that you have at least 100,000 things that you can be thankful for. You're alive, you can see, you can smell, you can hear, you are breathing, you're eating, you have a roof on your head, you have children. I mean, there's so many things to be in gratitude for. So don't latch on to this handful of painful things that you're going through. Look at this bigger thing. There was that quote that don't look at your problems as, don't tell God that your problems are so big. I know I'm not quoting it right, but God is bigger than all your problems.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the quote
I
as
know.
well, but
Exactly. We know. That's the essence you need to live with. Just bring in that essence into your life, bring in that belief, and everything else will get taken care of. And that doesn't mean that you won't feel fearful, you won't feel scared, you won't worry. Of course you will, but those are just fleeting emotions. It's like the ocean is so silent, and when you look at it at one moment, it's so silent and beautiful. And then suddenly there are these waves coming and going, and it's like, oh my God, the storm is going to engulf me. Isn't it? And then before you know it, the storm has passed on, and again there's a gentle, slow movement of, that peace and serene that you look at the ocean and you receive from it. It's the same ocean that was roaring a couple of hours before. Isn't it? So nothing is permanent. But we attach ourselves to that storm and we get into that wave, and then we are going up and down and up and down, and we feel, oh my God, I can't handle it. But if you just connect to the stillness, or that stillness at the depth of the ocean, nothing is happening there. That's the anchor. All the waves are moving up and down, but that anchor of the ocean is right there. Just be there. Just come there. That is your higher power. That is your divinity, your higher consciousness, God, universe, guides, whatever you might like to call it. And it is accessible and available to all of us at all times. So when you do that, when you have that belief, when you live with that belief, your child can never be in fear. Because when your child looks up to you and says, wow, in the midst of adversities, Mom, you're doing so well, that means you have trust. And that's the law of attraction, because you're sending out those vibrations that this is going to be taken care of, and the universe will reward you in that way. If you get into fear and you say, oh my God, I can't handle this, what is happening? That means the universe is You're telling the universe, I can't handle it. That means you can't handle it, isn't it? And if you need to pray at that time of adversity, pray that God give me the strength to go through the storm. And you will see from where that strength comes, it's not your business. How that strength comes, it's not your business. When that strength comes, it's not your business. Just hang in there. Just hang in there. Because you're still going to be there. Now it's up to you whether you want to, throw the tantrum and get caught in the storm or just stay still. But what do? We try to call 100 people and tell them, oh, this happened, that happened, this is what is happening. I'm not able to deal with this. This one is unfair. That one has cheated me, whatever. When we go into that, we're only enhancing that negative energy. Isn't
So
it?
instead of calming down, we're enhancing the storm around us.
Yeah, exactly. We are building the storm. Then the other person speaks to another person, adds another thing to it. That person speaks to another person. The story has become like one big game of Chinese whisper. And everybody is adding fear to it. Everybody is adding negativity to it. Everybody is adding their own presumptions and perceptions and assumptions to it, isn't it? And what you, who are the person who's feeling it, you're getting all those vibrations because you are the core of it. Versus saying, okay, I'm going through this. God, I can't handle it. Please help me. Or speak to a friend, who can actually connect you to that divinity. Just go sit in a temple or Gurudwara. Just be there. The energy is so powerful, it will bring you home. I mean, cry, shed those tears. That doesn't matter. Express your fears because you're feeling it. But don't judge yourself and don't believe in those fears.
Okay, okay. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for the analogy that you gave.
Sujata, can I say
Neha.
something, Sujata?
Yeah, Neha's
Hello?
just completing something. Yeah, Neha, complete your statement.
I'm just saying that, this was so, thank you for using that analogy because, we as parents do stuff for our children knowing that, they may not see it, but we know what's better in some areas.
Exactly.
When you equated that, it suddenly just made so much sense to have more faith, knowing that the higher power has a plan for you. And,
Always.
just to faith. So thank you so much. That really hits home.
I don't know whether you've heard this analogy that I love to give. It's like when your daughter is 16 and, or boys who are, say, 16, 17, they are very sharp. They don't need anybody to teach them to drive, Like I remember this for my son. He knew how to drive when he was 13, 14. But you will not give him the car keys till he's 18 and he has a license, isn't it? As much he may shout, scream, and he may say, I can drive better than you, mom. But you'll say, no, it is not the divine timing. And the same way you keep asking God, I want it now, I want this now, I want this to happen in my life now. But God says no. And you suffer. The child suffers. But you will get it only when you get that license. And God is the one who decides. The divinity is the one who decides when to give you that license. When you are capable enough to take the car on the road and the highway. Isn't it? Yes, Nandini.
Actually, Neha's brought up a topic that I had been thinking about, and I wanted to call up and tell you about it. To have a session for, kids who are between 15 and 25, they go through so much. And, I mean, we did all this much later on, but and examples of this are Tanvi and Shrishti, which is absolutely amazing. That at this age, so, I mean, it's just amazing that, and they're the people to ask. In fact, they can answer even Neha's question of saying that how to get, deal with youngsters. But you should, I mean, I was going to suggest to you to have a session, of course, without using words of God, meditation, consciousness, because everybody doesn't want to think about. The minute you talk about that, they say that, you go do it, we don't want to do it. But if this thing can be put into the lives of people who are younger, I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, especially those in their late teens and early teens when they are struggling with life, like Neha's daughter, and I'm sure some others, which, I mean, a lot of people out here, they must be having kids. It would be really nice if some simpler way of getting through or helping, these are basically finding tools for youngsters. So this is just a suggestion, but Neha's question prompted me to say it. I don't think I've ever spoken so much, Sujata, but today I thought this came up. I said, let me just say this, So that's what I was trying to put across.
Yeah. Actually, I have done a lot of classes with children because, I've been a teacher. When I used to teach maths and science, I used to, sneak in these things into the class, right? Rather than telling a child who's really feeling lost at that time when you're giving an answer question and you don't know the answer when you're sitting in the examination hall, I used to always tell them, just put your pen down, just close your eyes and just breathe 2 to 3 breaths, and the answer will come to you. And so many of them got back and told me that, yes, ma'am, it just helped us to remember because there was so much in the mind. And I have done a lot of classes for Reiki for children. I have done this workshop, which is called Reaching for the Stars. That's an EFT workshop for children. And I always love working with children. But the fact is now life is so distracted for the children. They'll say, we'll listen to a podcast by one of these life coaches, or we'll do something like that. It's so rushed for children nowadays. I mean, I'm available and I'm happy to offer myself because I know that that is the generation who needs it the most. And also, there are so many children. I mean, I have friends and students whose young children, seeing their mothers or parents believe in this, have, sort of also connected to me just as a family friend, and then reaching out to me in times of exams, in times of distress, and always knowing that they are supported. And you'll be surprised, like in other cases, there are children who have come, like Srishti, Tanvi, and then they've brought in their families, to be when the parents see the children dealing with things in a better way, the parents also start believing in this. So it's just how it is destined to be. But I am very happy to do anything for youngsters. I'm always available and I love working with children. And I have that rapport with kids that I know for sure I can get friendly to them. And I work with a lot of students in universities, but particularly overseas, because they are going through a lot of stresses. And, it's like they're away from home. They find that this space or this setup, this session that they have with me, they're not being judged at all. Because parents are telling them, we told you not to go. Invariably, as parents, you bring those things in. Why are you doing this? So then when they connect to me and they form that rapport, my Sundays are booked with people in universities all over US because that's their morning time, my Sunday evening. And I'm working with them, either doing breath work or doing tapping or doing something to help them cope with the pressures of where they are right now. So I would love to. I'm always available and I offer myself fully for anything like that. We'll surely plan something. Yes, Ivneet?
Hi, Auntie. I'm so glad I joined this talk. It's beautiful and it's given so much insight. I think I really did need to hear it. But I just wanted to understand one thing. It's a general thing. You said you talked about the past experience, that it's fear of the past. I mean, what has happened and fear of the future. Now, what happens is that there's certain things which get ingrained because for somebody, for example, I'll speak for myself here, the
Yeah.
journey has not been easy until now. However,
Yeah.
I really need to change the narrative and stop saying it's been so hard. And things around they are not. So, in the situation that I am in, I cannot today say that, oh, it's so pleasant, it's easy breezy, God's always there. I know God's always there and He's teaching us what He needs to teach us. I don't question that. However, to change the narrative and to not have that negative reinforcement, oh, it's been so hard. Because, it comes back to you. वही बात reinforce
Yeah.
होके वापस आ जाती है. So how do I I want to totally destruct that narrative in my life that what has happened until this second, it's done, it's over. So while speaking to anybody, and I was talking to a friend when I kept saying, it's been so hard, it's so difficult, this is not. So she actually said that, you've used the word, it's been so hard so many times in the conversation. And I said, but it's a fact. She's like, but you need to change it and say that, okay, it's going to be easy. So how do I change that at least while speaking and be constantly conscious of it? Perhaps I'm not getting out of this rigmarole because I think I constantly reinforce life being hard, which it is. It might be a fact, but it can change. No, overnight anything can change.
Yeah.
Exactly what you
Yeah.
said. You turn 18 and you get the car keys, and here you are
Yeah.
zipping off on the roads. So maybe that
Yeah.
time has come. But I need to
Yeah.
really, feel that
Yeah.
internally.
But I know, and I know your struggle very well. I've worked with you so much, and I totally respect what you're saying. But really, that narrative, the thing is, firstly, there is too much belief in the personhood, and there's too much belief even now in this thing that this is hard. Now, hard is a very relative term. If I would say, okay, if need start writing a gratitude log, start writing a gratitude journal. You might be doing it also because I know you're on that group also. But the thing is that uh, there are certain things which are not moving in the way of the way they should be moving. It's getting late, or it's just not opening up that avenue for you. And that is what is your your kind of definition of life being easy. Believe me, tomorrow if those things also happen, life may still be so called hard, because it's a very relative term. You understand? Now in some cases, okay, some people are there and they're stuck in their relationships. Some people are there and they're really stuck in their finances. So if my finances get okay, even if my relationships are sour, I feel that now my finances have got okay, but my relationships are, or my relationship settles down, but my finances really go down the drain, then it's like, how can I enjoy the relationship because my finances are not okay? So it is non-acceptance of my current situation that is causing this. You understand? So what do we need to do? We need to understand, okay, this is not happening at the moment, but this is good. Let me just enjoy this good and not keep going into that narrative, because that will only stop when that picture changes from black to white. You know what I mean? And that may not change right now. If it is meant to change, it will change. But have trust in the higher power that it is not, that 18 years, that date, your birthday is really kind of, it's taking ages to reach that age of 18, So that's just what I'm saying. But also believe that it's going to come. You are going to turn 18 sooner or later, isn't it? But don't be dissatisfied with the present situation. Change your narrative to being positive now. And when you hear yourself saying, look, my life is like this. Look, it's so hard for me. When you hear yourself saying that, laugh at yourself and say, oh my God, I'm repeating that same narrative. It's a pattern. And then I'm attracting the same thing. Then I'm saying, why God, why am I not able to get out of it? So when you catch yourself there, and the other part is not, and for you, I'm saying the other part is not something that you can believe so easily, because it seems too far. अभी तो कहाँ से दिख ही नहीं रहा. अभी तो I'm like 18, it seems I'm not even born. I'm not even probably conceived. You know what I mean? So 18 तो अभी बहुत दूर है. So don't look at it in that way. Look that, yeah, I'm approaching it, but where I am right now, can I not just enjoy? Why I go on to that, hooking on to that one thing which is like, or two things, or that situation which is there? Okay, it is there. It is very bad. It is absolutely black. But can I just stand there and, accept this is what it is? When you accept this is what it is, half your problem goes away. The problem is only personal, and it is only resistance. This should change. This should not be this way. जब तक ये नहीं बदलेगा, मैं सुखी नहीं हो पाऊंगी. So that you have to drop, even if it feels like, like we say, fake it till you make it. Just keep blessing yourself. Just keep blessing your space. Just keep blessing your, the life that you have, all the positives, and forget about what next, or when that thing happens. The past experiences, they're past, they're over. I'm going into the future, wo abhi hai bhi nahi. But abhi jo hai, let me just enjoy. Let me just fully enjoy this talk, and not even go ahead taking lessons. But yeah, wow, I enjoyed this 1 hour of listening to this and, discussing this. And now I go on to the next and I just enjoy that. And I go on to the next and I just enjoy that. Then the thought of the past comes, or somebody calls you up, or you see a drama happening in your house, and you get totally drawn into that. Just stay put, watch the drama. If there's somebody, if a movie is playing and you're watching the movie and you're seeing somebody suffering and dying, okay, you might feel that emotion. But the moment you step out of the movie hall, it's all out. Isn't it? You don't carry it and believe it to be true. You look at this whole thing as a movie happening and enjoy the show. Sometimes you're crying, sometimes there's comedy, you're laughing, sometimes there's action, you're sitting at the edge of your seat. This is life. So step into that role of the observer and don't jump into that on the screen and say, okay, now, I have to cry with this, or I have to die with this. Just, I know, but somewhere, even the fact that you're voicing it out and putting it out, it's very good, because there is a brighter side. The divinity is there. The sun is still shining. If we draw the curtains, if we put our blinds, we shut the doors and we say, I can't see any sunlight. The sunlight is still there. So open those curtains and enjoy the sunlight while it is there. Even if it is pouring, the sun is still there behind the clouds. Have that faith and trust. Just absorb it. Don't try to rationalize. Just absorb it. Keep believing that, okay, it's a tough road, but I have the ability to kind of make my way through this. And you will see it happening. And I totally empathize with you. It's not that I know what you're going through and what you have been going through, but don't make it your life narrative. Change it now. Change it to the other things of how you're able to look at all this as a drama and yet be peaceful. Pray for it and believe me, it will happen.
Right, Auntie. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I had promised the group that I would do a meditation, but I just don't have time because I have my family constellation class starting in 5 minutes. And, just to share with all of you, I'm going to be certified from this institute in Brussels as a family constellator. And I'm going to start offering sessions very soon. So I would love to share and, practice with a lot of you. So let's just use these last 5 minutes to connect to our breath. Yeah, just let's connect to our breath. The simplest way, you don't need any meditation. Just center yourself, make yourselves comfortable in your space right now. And that breath is going to connect you to the divinity within each one of you. So just as you're sitting, lying down, just listening, with awareness, close your eyes. Know that all around the energies are so powerful on these sacred days of Navratri. And we all bring in that sacred energy of Durga, the divinity within each one of us, the Durga within each one of us. And slowly close your eyes. And take your focus to the tip of your nose. And if nothing else, just be grateful that you are alive in your breathing. Feel that breath. Welcome that incoming breath. And thank that outgoing breath. Welcome that incoming breath. And thank the outgoing breath. With full awareness, breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in with gratitude. As you breathe in this breath, fresh energy, fresh prana, fresh life force, washing away all those pain bodies. And as you breathe out, you're releasing those toxins, those pain bodies, and the breath is carrying them out. It's not just carrying the oxygen and in and the carbon dioxide out, it's carrying in fresh energy, life force energy, prana into you. And as you release, it's carrying away all your pains. Surrender them to your breath and let the breath dissipate that energy out. So just coming to your breath, coming into this awareness, feel that grounding, feel your feet connected to Mother Earth. Feel Mother Earth anchoring you, holding you. Breathe into the center of your chest. Feel that energy. And now when you come into the space with just 3-4 breaths of awareness, what is the problem? What are the issues? It's all just perfect. So take a deep breath of gratitude right up to your feet and release. Another nice deep breath, bringing in so much joy, love, happiness. Let the breath bring in that vibration. Bring in that smile, bring in that happiness. That fresh prana brings in. And release with gratitude. And with that, I conclude the session. Thank you for joining in. Love you all. Know that each one of you are divine. Each one of you are precious. And I love you all and God bless you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.